Okay, 5:30 p.m. We'll call the meeting of the Facilities Committee to order. And I see both Jack and Mike are present. And Randy, is there anyone else you wanted noted as present?
I think that we'll be able to go back and list them. I have everybody else who's present at the meeting tonight.
Okay.
All right, I think
Hey,
I
Dave.
have in with Steve here as well.
Dave, can I make a suggestion when somebody is speaking on a topic, have them say their name?
Okay, good idea, Jack. So first thing is approval of the agenda. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve?
I'm going to guess Mike is going to second that at some point. And then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And so the agenda is approved. Next is public comments, as all of our committee meetings have. We have a section for the public to comment on anything on the agenda. Do we have anyone to make a comment?
Dave, I do not have any emails that came in per public comment, and I think most of the people that we've shared our Zoom link with are with regards to the first two agenda items.
I would like to point out that the board members have received numerous emails today about the monument. I am going to put them all together into one Word document and get them to the school district so that it can be put into the minutes. But I, just as a quick listing, Kristen Kaiser, Heather Driscoll, Eleanor Terry Welsh, Arviana Martin, the Cherokee Heights Middle School PTO from Madison, Rachel Brinton, Bianca Shaw, Robert McPherson, Becky Fiegel, Oana McCasey Green, Ann Dapowski and Michaela Wagner all sent in comments about the monument. Mainly, the comments were all about the American Indian symbol being put on the monument, and they were all asking that it be removed. But I will get all those over to you, Randy, so that you can have them for the
Yep, that's fine. If you just want to copy Rebecca on that as well, Dave, that'd be great.
I will. So no other public comments. We'll move on to the facilities improvement plan then, and the first one is softball.
All right. Aaron, do you want to intro this? I mean, this is one that I think that you brought forward. And I know, Chrissy, I had a few different email conversations with you earlier on, and you're looking at a concession stand. Is that accurate? All right. So, Aaron, any background that you have, you're muted right now, so you'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, this is Aaron May, Activities Director. So I would say back in January, February, before things got crazy, I met with Chrissy Tachek and John Smithback, representatives from the Softball Booster Club. I asked them to be here as part of it. They, at that point, had proposed a plan, and they have the funding lined up to, I'll call it an addition to the softball complex or the softball varsity area, which would basically serve as a concession stand. It would, in terms of style, sort of match with the current softball press box. But it would be, and John and Dirk and Chrissy will have a chance here. They'll be able to go into more detail. But it would serve as a concession stand and an apparel stand, allowing the first floor of the current press box to go back to being used as softball storage. And it would be, if I'm saying this correctly, it would be a standalone building. What I mean by that, it's not going to be necessarily tied into the current press box. We won't be tying into what we currently have there, but it would be near it and matching it in terms of style. John, Dirk, Chrissy, you guys want to sort of fill in any blanks I left there, and we can go from there?
Yeah, so Dirk Tachek, I'm one of the co-presidents for the softball board. You have John Smithback, the other co-president, Rob Thole on the line as the vice president. Holly Mercier as the secretary, and my wife as the treasurer. Good job, Aaron.
Thank you.
So a couple other things just to add. We have been working really hard with the coach and several boards to raise funds for capital improvements. And our plan was always to get enough money in the system where we could, in perpetuity, start to fund some annual programs to make the program and the facilities better, both for the girls and just for the longevity of the program. We have enough money in the bank now where we can start to look at something like a concession stand and actually fund the entire project out of our bank account, where it would not be, we would not be looking for money from the school or the district at all. And our sole purpose for this, there's a couple things to just add on to things that Aaron said. Moving into a new facility allows us to be able to put it in a secure and sanitary location. The current situation, we share our concession area with all of the equipment, the baseballs, the bats, the field equipment, rakes. It's quite dirty, and it causes us on a game-to-game basis to have to clean and get it prepared so that people will feel comfortable buying food from us. It is a fundraiser for us, the concessions are, so we want to continue to do that. The second part is we don't currently have a place, and we rely on email distribution and word of mouth to sell merchandise for the program. And this doesn't allow us to on a regular basis, provide kids that come to the games, parents, grandparents, or anything to see merchandise, purchase merchandise on a week-to-week basis. It relies on an email distribution and a once or twice a year submission of your purchases. And we feel like we can drive more spirit and more just program-wide fanfare from the younger kids and from the grandparents and things to support the program as well. And then the third thing that we'd like to do is by moving the concession stand and attaching it to the current press box area, it allows us to put a window on the front of the press box where the parents who actually are volunteering to work can actually watch the games. In the current setup, we actually have a table set up in a doorway that actually faces 90 degrees of the area where you can watch. So you can imagine, in order to get volunteers from the parents to work the concession stand, it's not a very appealing job, and we struggle. So this allows us to solve those three issues. We will continue to keep in the spirit of making sure that the construction and things are all approved by this committee. We attached in our proposal some renderings. Obviously, before we went to a detailed design and got more expense into the project, we felt like a rendering was good enough to at least give you an idea of what we were thinking. And then we would go through detailed design and then obviously come back with final approval and any other advice that you'd like to give us. But we are proud of being able to raise the money over the years. We are ready to make a better environment for our girls and continue to support with all the programs that we have planned as a board through the use of this concession stand if you approve it.
When you say the girls, are you talking softball?
Yes, softball, varsity, JV, and freshman softball. As well, we are connected into the youth programs as well.
So is this on the softball program and not on the baseball field?
That's correct.
Okay.
Derek, one of the things, just for clarification, what we have in our packet and what the board has seen tonight is the facility improvement plan worksheet. And so they're not seeing the rendering. So I don't know, Aaron, was there a rendering that was forwarded that we just missed to attach, or do you have that you could shoot it to me and I can put it up on the screen? You're muted right now.
There you go. Yeah, this is Aaron. I'm pulling up my emails. I was looking if Chrissy, did you send that to me or?
I sent it in the initial email that I had sent to Randy and Rebecca requesting to be on the agenda, and then I believe that one got forwarded to you.
All right, I will.
Randy, would you like me to share? I can share a rendering to everybody on the Zoom call.
If you have it, sure.
Sure, I can do that. Just give me a second.
I think I have that available, so sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I didn't realize
No worries.
in my documents. I apologize.
All right, so hopefully you guys are seeing this.
Yep.
Okay, so ignore the fact that it says option 2. Obviously, we have several renderings. This is a rendering that looks overhead. That's in pink. You can see the home plate. The thin line is the fence line that forms the fence behind the battery. You can see the bleachers and the way they're configured and the current press box. The small square off to the right of the current press box is the overhead look at what approximately a 200 square foot concession stand would look like added to the building. If you scroll a little further, this would be the view from the street. The street is Simon Cressway. As you drive by the varsity field, the back side of the existing press box, you can see it has a set of stairs that go up to the upper level. And it is this approximate coloring. We would just match the existing coloring, and then we envision putting a softball logo on the new building as well, just to dress it up. And then if I scroll down further, just to share with you what it would look like from the field, imagine this picture is really what the pitcher would see as the pitcher is throwing the ball to home base. And you could see the window in the rendering that shows where the parents can actually participate in volunteers for the concession stand, and then have the view of their children while they play softball. So those were the renderings that we put together. Obviously not detailed design engineered drawings, but hopefully gives you an idea of what we're proposing for your consideration.
I guess I'll start off by saying I appreciate you putting all this together and presenting it today, and I'm going to make a motion to approve as recommended, to recommend it to the full board.
I'm going to make a second to that motion.
Okay, so we have a motion to recommend approval to the full board. Is there any further discussion? Other than I think it looks really good. Yes, Randy.
If I just want to clarify, so the motion that Mike you're making is for them to move ahead with the project, is that correct?
Yep.
Or does the board want to see any of their more finalized design pieces as they come forward? I mean, that's certainly a piece that Steve and John and I can keep our eye on, and obviously this has to fit within the budget that they put forth. But if you're comfortable with that being part of your motion, then we can move forward with managing the project from there. So
I agree with how you verbalized it, Randy.
all right, thank you.
And I still second that.
All right, great, awesome.
Any further discussion? Then all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those
Yes.
opposed say no. And the recommendation moves forward.
So we'll add
Thank you
that.
so much.
We'll add that to the agenda to the June 8th meeting. So this will be a conversation then we'll bring forward and present at that point as well.
All right, Randy, Aaron, committee, I really appreciate it. We will drop now. Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
your
all.
work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
You guys.
And now we'll move on to 5B, which is the Pride Stone, which you have the two attached documents for.
Right. So I guess as a little bit of background, I know Aaron, again, I'll let you start off, and then I think Randy Meffert and others are joining us this evening as well.
Yeah, so we have the Meffert family here. I would say about 3-4 weeks ago, Coach Rice approached me that the Meffert family would like to do something really to symbolize and to recognize the sports that play at Warrior Stadium. Well, I should backtrack on that. Actually, they wanted to recognize all of our team sports, conference and state titles. And when I originally gave Randy Meffert the list, we quickly realized that stone would have to be about 3 times the current size or the current proposal. So in some discussions, we talked about, the idea of recognizing the teams that use Warrior Stadium as a way for the Meffert family to show their commitment to Waunakee athletics and their support of Waunakee athletics and academics. And so what the Pride Stone would have on it would be the conference and state titles for each of the sports that use Warrior Stadium as their competition location. So that would include boys and girls track, boys and girls lacrosse, and then football. What you saw in your attachments were some proposed renderings or some proposal of what it might look like from the Meffert family. I think we all know everything that they've done for this community, and everything that they do is always top notch. So it would be, I think, a nice addition to the facility to recognize our kids' hard work and accomplishments at the stadium. The current monument, as sort of proposed, I don't know if we've got Randy. You guys should have a copy of that. It would be, like 6 to 8 feet tall, and then it would have space to basically list to put on it the years that we've won conference and the years that those teams have won states in different spots. Randy, if you wanna, if there's something I'm missing or some parts of this, you can maybe want to talk about the genesis of this idea in terms of recognize and where it came from and the conversations that you had to get this started too.
Sure. It started shortly after my father passed away in March. We wanted to do something for the schools. My father always took a lot of pride in the football program. He was on the first conference championship in 1953. And he played for Dick Trotta. In football, he always told us that it gave him so many values that helped him in life, sports and scholastics. And then Todd and myself had the opportunity to play for Gail Quinn. And then I have 6 nephews now that have either played or in the process of playing for Pat Rice. And we wanted to present something that the community would take a lot of pride in. The kids, that both girls and boys, that sacrifice a lot to be in athletics or extracurricular activities. And we started out wanting to, do it for all sports and all, extracurricular, but like you said, the monument would get much bigger than we initially thought it would be after I was presented the list of all the conference and state titles. And so with Aaron's recommendation, and I had some discussion with Pat about placing the stone close to where the football players enter the stadium. I think all the school athletic kids come through the same gates, and the Pride Stone would be part of a tradition going forward where they can recognize all those that have gone before them and have paved the way for their success. And we taken a lot of pride in our football heritage and all our athletic heritages, as well as the academics of Waunakee. And I think that we wanted to show our support in recognizing our father in a tribute.
Got a question. Would you consider putting cross country on there? Because obviously they don't really have a place, but all those distance runners run in track, and the girls cross country has probably taken conference. Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but they've taken it probably 9 years in a row.
Yeah, we're going. Fingers crossed, we're going on almost a decade here of the girls winning conference. Yep.
Yeah, and they when you look at cross country, it's out in the country, so you really don't have a location. And last year cross country won 3 out of the 4 cross country titles at conference, and we took second with the boys.
I think you could argue that ties in with track and field as a fall sport. So, and I think we could certainly get that on would be the 4 sports then.
I think the kids would appreciate that.
Is there more to the presentation? I just want to make sure if there's anything else you wanted to say.
That kind of captures what we wanted to do. We would be responsible for all of it. It's all black granite, and then it would sit on a concrete pedestal also that would have a foundation. We would take care of all that. The people that did the rendering for us, Peckman Memorials, they also did a monument similar to this for the city of McFarland for the police department. And they actually, between the walls and then the cap, they actually put a 3-inch blue LED lit that goes around all 4 sides. And Gary Peckman, the owner and designer, said that it would certainly be surmisable to put in a purple LED light ring that goes across it underneath the cap as it shines down on stone. And so the only thing that I had talked to Aaron about is it possible to get electrical service to the stone?
And we did. Mike Darwin had a conversation with Westfall Electric to look at this and the location, and they believe they've got some places that they could pull power from, depending on what side of the player entrance path they put it on. I asked Ian over at Westfall, and John Kramer was part of the emails going back and forth, to kind of give just right now a ballpark figure, because we don't have details exactly what kind of lighting situation we want to have set up. And I want to say he gave us a range of about $3,500 to $5,500 in terms of lighting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That seems high. Yeah.
Well, and that's a lot of unknowns. So I think he was trying to go a little high to make sure he didn't undersell maybe what the cost was going to be.
Okay.
Hey, can't you just run an extension cord over there?
That's the price for burying the extension cord, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Just
think
kidding.
what this was part of. I think one of those options included, putting sort of pot lights surrounding all 4 sides, and I mean they kind of ran through a gamut of different things because we weren't without sort of more detailed electrical drawing. They were a little skittish on getting us any kind of hard numbers or numbers that we'd really hold them to.
Okay, then questions or comments from the committee?
I guess I can go first. I actually wanted to say that I'm sorry I missed that Mr. Mefford had passed away. I actually got the chance to meet him about 10 years ago when I first was in Waunakee for any period of time. So seeing this on our agenda was actually the first I knew he passed away. So I'm sorry for your loss. I know he was very well known in the community, and I remember meeting him, and I don't remember a lot of people I met 10 years ago. So that sticks in my mind. I want, assuming this goes forward, I want it to be a good thing for everyone and not have it be any kind of a divisive issue. And I will say that the amount of feedback I've gotten already on something that's just before a facilities committee meeting was surprising. And even putting it out there for people in the community to comment on, it seems like it's kind of a 50-50 split in terms of the imagery on the monument. So I guess my question is, I don't really want this to be a divisive issue at all, because it's supposed to be celebrating all great things and being done in honor of Mr. Mefford. So is the design wedded to having any imagery on there that could cause offense?
The spear was actually put on there by Gary Peckman. I didn't have anything on there, any symbol, because they change. Sure. And the stone's pretty permanent. So Gary had put that on there, but if it causes hard feelings to anybody, that we're not locked into that.
Okay, that was my only question. I think it looks nice. I mean, I showed it to my wife, and she shockingly said it looks good. She's not positive about anything I show her right away about school board stuff. So that's all I had. Thank you.
I make the motion to approve this minus the spear, and we put on the Waunakee athletic logo.
Like that cool W or whatever it is that's on the field?
I'm not sure I like that, but something that's appropriate for the school district.
Seconded.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve it with the change of the spear to the W.
No, I didn't make the motion to the W. I would prefer the Waunakee school, the Waunakee logo, school logo.
What is our Waunakee logo, Randy?
That's a trick question.
It was.
Right now, we do not have an official logo. I mean, what I would recommend is, I think Mr. Meffert, you said that this was a bronze piece that was attached. I think that could be something that we determine what can go there at a future point, because it seems like as we continue to have championships, I hope moving forward there'll be additions to the monument, and we can determine what the most appropriate I guess symbol or logo that would be best there.
Okay.
Is that fine with your motion, Jack?
That would be fine, but okay. I want to note it that I don't like the W that's out there.
Noted. Is there? I'd like to add my comment. I love the look of it and everything. My problem is something that we've discussed many times before, is the fact, how do you pick one sport or one or two sports over everything else? Plus, honestly, there's the scholastic competitive teams that have won state championships, and we always seem to never put them anywhere. And this is just another case of picking one or two sports and then ignoring the rest. I understand the size issue and the space issue, and how that works into it. I'm only going to vote against this motion right now because I think we need to figure out how and what we're going to put on it. I mean, Jack made a motion to add cross country. That's fine. There may be other board members who want to add another sport that they're part of, and that would cause more issues. So I'm not against the concept. I'm not against putting the monument up. I'm only thinking we might have to take a little bit of time to figure out exactly how and what we fit onto the monument. And that's a tough decision because you're right, Waunakee's been incredibly successful, and there's a lot to put out there. The other question I had, and I talked with Randy about this ahead of time, is we're listing the 3 coaches again, which is something we've already done on the press box, and we have not listed anyone who hasn't passed away before. And so putting Pat Rice's name on there right off the bat could be a bit problematic in other areas. And I'm just wondering if we're looking at the space issue, since we already have the coaches listed up on the press box, should we really put them here? And again, we're picking one sport over, I mean, that straight up cross country, 9 championships in a row. Why wouldn't you put that coach on? And again, we start creating this monstrous list of what we're doing, and you start losing the message. So I'm thinking maybe we should consider whether that should be part of it or not. And if we do make it part of it, since this is going to go on into the future, I think we need to create a standard or something as to what gets included and what doesn't, so that it doesn't become haphazard, 2-3 years from now.
On the rendering that we just got back, I talked to Peckman Memorial about the coaches. Those 3 coaches have had a lot of success that have created the foundation for what we've enjoyed over the years. Rather than having them carved in, their names would be put on a plaque. And I talked to Pat about this. Obviously Dick and Gail are both gone now, but Pat's, his career is still ongoing, and so we would leave a space for Pat's plaque when he does retire, is what I would propose.
Well, how do you feel about the issue about the coaches for other sports that have done as well?
Part of it is that we have 3 generations that played football for Waunakee, and obviously we've it's been a big part of our life. I can't say that we participated in the cross country, and in possibly if there's room, then do they have a support like the football program does, that those plaques could be put on for them?
Was that specifically about cross country?
Yes.
I think your question, Randy, if I'm interpreting it right, is that in your response is that certainly some of the things around football have been important to your family, which is part of what the monument is also doing, and then recognizing the other sports that took place in that venue. And I think your question, if I'm understanding it right, is to recognize some additional coaches, et cetera, for some of the other sports. You're wondering if there's other financial support from those groups to want to be recognized on the monument. Is that a good summation of what you're asking?
Correct. We'll put the conference championships on there and the state championships, but if they want to recognize a particular coach, I'm not familiar with any of them.
Yeah, I think, it would be up to the individual sport, to come up with a plaque or whatever, that would be in this, in your design here, for those coaches. Because I know track has been very successful as well. And, it's just, Dave, I appreciate, what you're saying, with recognizing, some of these other activities. And, I think there's appropriate places on the school grounds where you can put them. Soccer is going out for their activity, in their facility. I would suspect that, they would potentially plan on, putting some type of recognition board of some sort, for their success. Baseball, and softball, they've got some recognition boards, in the school, you've got academic, recognition in, they're framed, names, if you will, next to the PAC. So I think there's appropriate places to put some of these recognition, and to put them all on one particular plaque, may not make sense. And I think Aaron couched this as the sports that are played in that venue, which is football. Lacrosse plays in there too, right, Randy?
Yes.
Yes.
So you got lacrosse. Lacrosse is relatively new, so it may not have the history as the cross country and track team have. So it's just,
Any other comments? Hearing no other comments on the motion, then all those in favor of the recommendation, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. And we will move it to the full board. I really appreciate you bringing it forward, so thank you.
Would you like any modifications to the rendering before it goes to the board? Would you like the spear removed so that we can bring forth one that doesn't have that image on there? Is that something possible, Randy, that the person who drew this up could do?
Absolutely.
All right, that would be awesome. If you could just get that to Aaron, that would be great, and then we can get it into the packet for the June 8th meeting.
Okay.
Anything
Thank
else
you.
that the board would like kind of changed as they're kind of going back and looking at some of the renderings?
Anything else you'd like to see on it?
No, it looks good.
Oh, great. I think it looked good. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And then we'll go on to item 6, capital project status update. So I guess that'll be John.
Dave, I just need us to wait for a moment. Go ahead and start with that.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Good to see everybody. Did the document come through okay in the board book? The version I have is garbled. So I was wondering if everybody has the 2019-2020 capital projects list.
All right.
In the quick view, it came through, and in the other version, it did not.
Okay.
Do you want me to share it, John, so you can all see it?
Or I can share either way, Randy.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and share it, then you can navigate. That'd be awesome.
Okay, sure. 1 second. I go back and forth from platforms, Zoom to Google they're all just a little bit different. So.
Hey, John. This is Steve.
Yeah.
So I think Randy has a 6:30 meeting. So we're going to have to be expedited with covering the next two topics.
Okay, sure. I'll try and share my screen as quick as I can here. With a lot of tabs open, so bear with me. It's not that one. Okay. Can everybody see now at the top 2019-2020 capital maintenance project list?
Yes.
Yep.
I just wanted to show you guys quick on this. The items in pink or light red have been completed for this fiscal year already. The Clemens folks just finished up over at Prairie, removing the final snow fencing and checking on the grass that's growing in at the berm project, and the culvert's complete. And they're out of there. We owe a little bit of money on that. We're expecting the invoices yet, so that's why The stormwater Rattler project and stormwater berm still show a little bit of outstanding funds yet, amount not billed. And then I'm actually coordinating the pool construction joint and mud bed project now. We had our pool contractor potentially give us a little time, and obviously with the students and programs out of the pool, it gives us some time to get into the pool. So I'm coordinating that project, and hopefully we're looking first week of July on the pool construction joint. So that's really the extent of the projects that we have left over. The 2 trailers, we are purchasing those in this year. And then the commercial dishwasher, I want to make sure we're making the right move there as far as the components that are in the schools that need to be replaced. So we'll prioritize the right thing. And if it's the dishwasher, that'd be great. But again, I don't want to put a piece of equipment and there's be something worse that we should have done first. So I'm just validating that with our ASC1 contractor in the kitchens. Otherwise, that'll be a wrap for this year.
John, you know, one of the things that we did is we're taking those funds from our school lunch program to pay for these meals, for the kids' meals. Where is this money coming from? Weren't we slating those dollars, you know, for this particular project? And if so, do we still have those funds available?
I'm not sure where the school lunch program dollars came from. That would probably be a business office question, so I can't answer that, Jack.
Yep, Steve, can you answer that as far as the dollars that we had set aside in the food service fund that I think we were part of the conversation in and out with regards to the dishwasher?
Yeah, great question, Jack. In the past, we have used our Fund 50, which is our food service fund, as the mechanism for paying for larger capital project replacements. I did mention during the discussion regarding the school closure meal program that there was the potential that unless we received reimbursement, our fund balance in Fund 50 would be drawn down. And moving forward into the future, we are going to have to utilize our Fund 41 or our capital projects fund for larger capital projects related to the food service program. We would likely not have the resources available in Fund 50 to be able to pay for projects moving forward. So it still remains to be seen whether we're going to receive any reimbursement for the school closure meal program. But it is a good assumption at this point that we're going to be having to use Fund 41 in 2020, 2021, and beyond for projects related to the school kitchens.
Is this something that could be put off a year, or is this? I know it's been put off several years already, but is it still functional? Where if we put it off a year,
still functioning now,
okay?
Jack. Yeah, it's still functioning now. That's correct. As I look at the bigger ticket items from the facilities maintenance plan, this is one that came up that's single point of failure type item, but it's working right now, and I think we can get along with it.
So do you think we could push it off a year to see if we get some reimbursements and things like that?
Hopefully we'll be fine for a year. Yeah, if it breaks down, we'll have emergency repair or we'll ship dishes off to another kitchen. But I think emergency repair, if we had to, would be the secondary. Yeah, I think that'd be fine.
I would make the motion to push it off, push this out to see how much we may get for the school lunch program.
So John and Steve, this is an update of 1920. All of these have been approved as of now. Is that correct? And this is just an update for where you're at?
Yep.
That's correct.
Yep. So I think given that feedback, Jack, if that's something you'd like to do, we can just hold on this. These are the items that were approved at previously through the board.
Yeah, no, I understand that it's been previously approved, but I would recommend that it be held off. I don't know are the other members of the committee on?
Yeah. I'm fine with holding it off. I don't.
Sure.
I mean, Steve, can you give us an idea where the money is on the free reduced lunch program?
So at this point, reimbursement is not looking positive. The reason why I'm saying that is we are learning from FEMA that their definition of reimbursable funds are expenses that are legally obligated for a government entity to provide. They've so far provided guidance that they determine school closure meal programs to not be legally obligated to be provided, but we're still following through on that. In the event that we do not receive any reimbursement from FEMA or any other organization regarding that program, it's very likely we will utilize probably all of our Fund 50 fund balance for that program.
Are there any other questions on it? Then it just sounds like generally the idea of holding off on that one item might be helpful at this time. Anything else, John, on the 1920?
That's it for this sheet, guys.
Okay.
And John, are you going to run through the 2020-2021 changes that you're recommending?
Yeah, if we have time with that, I can get Randy out of here and show the 2020-2021 capital projects changes quickly. And those changes are highlighted in yellow. If you can see that on my screen, if it's not coming through, let me know. So row, actually I'm going to use item number, column C, instead of row number. So item number 2, I want to increase that by $2,000. That's just based on a quote to replace some kitchen refrigeration equipment in the high school. And as you can see by row G, I'm placing the years here that the facilities maintenance plan shows that it's due. So that refrigerator itself is 14 years beyond its useful life. So simple $3,000 upgrade, again, according to the bid that we received. Item number 12 is to reallocate the dollar I had set aside for stairs at the west side of the high school. That project, that obviously stairs have never been there, and I decided that we could probably use that $20,000 in a different way. So, and I'd like to do some improvements into the pool area and pool locker room area versus the sidewalk steps. So that's the recommendation I have there on item 12. Item 17, that's just emergency repairs for equipment, various dollars, and we reduce that to reallocate some dollars here within the sheet. Item number 20, I increased that line item to $25,000. The original project, or excuse me, increased it. I had 0 because it was kind of an unknown project. I increased the priority of the project and allocated the $25,000 to digitize records and hopefully move to a key to box as part of this. But digitizing our records is going to be a key to getting into the future. Item number 21 is a new request for carpeting at the Arboretum School. That's been quoted. 22 is a carpeting item for the middle school. That's been quoted. Again, I had some challenges with what to quote and what to put on here for middle school and high school areas given referendum issues, but I think with the delays, some of these items probably can't last 3 or 4 years anymore. So, and then down to item number 23, like I said, I transferred some projected costs for a new stair over to pool lockers at the high school for improvements there.
So you went from 120,000 down to 20,000?
No, Jack. Originally, I had earmarked $120,000 in that line, and 0 was allocated. So really, what I did was instead of having the stairs, I put that $20,000 stair into the pool. It by no means will give us a new pool locker room area, but it will help some improvements in the things that are becoming decayed and falling apart in there.
Okay.
So it's a start for the pool area.
Okay.
Okay. These items 24, 25, 26 are actually handled from 2019, 2020 project list. So those are non-issues. And then I have new requests for carpeting at Prairie School, repairing the bollards at the high school around the new sculpture. We have multiple lights that are bad and we want to convert those to LED. And then through our mechanic, he's been able to repair this van to the point that I'd like to save that $28,000 and move it in other places and keep this low use van. It works fine now. We had some radiator work done on it and some frame work done on it. So that's not really a need anymore. So that's where we're at as far as changes and new requests.
If I can add something, John, the bollards you're talking about at the high school are not associated with the sculpture. They're the ones that were originally there prior to the sculpture being installed, and they just need some additional work.
That's correct. Yep. It's the bollards by near door 1. Yep.
Make a motion to approve.
Seconded.
Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no, and it's approved.
Thank you, guys.
Well, actually, that's a recommendation to the board then, right, Randy?
Yes,
Okay.
this will move on to the full board for their consideration at June 8th meeting.
Okay, we have 3 minutes to cover the last item. So energy efficiency.
Okay.
You again, John.
I'll be quick. The hardest part is finding the right tab. Okay. (2021) energy efficient budget items. This is assuming I have a budget for energy efficiency products of the $83,894. Projects that we're looking at are high school metal shops areas, changing to LED. Arboretum gym, changing that from metal halide to LED. Multiple quotes I have at the high school for changing restrooms and hallways to LED. You can see the payback in numbers of years and the cost of the projects. So the cost of the projects, $58,19, $6,894, basically consuming the entire energy savings project budget. That was as quick as I can get on that, guys.
And that Westfall quote, that was per fixture, right? I mean, I'm seeing 300. Yeah.
This is per yes, fixture unit price is the attach. Yeah, that's correct.
I see I'm in the wrong end of the business. So is there a motion to recommend this for approval by the board?
Yeah, I make the motion to approve reluctantly because we don't have the whole picture on the entire school funding, but I think we still have to move forward with some of these projects.
I can just interject, Steve. Is this part of our energy efficiency budget? Is that where the dollar amount came from that this is allocated off of?
Yeah, that's correct, Randy. And I'll echo Jack's comments that it's a good idea to get these projects in front of the board. It's a good idea to consider still moving forward with them. But this is one of those line items that if we do have the state funding rug pulled out from underneath us, this is one of those areas we could look to reallocate funds from. Not saying it's the best idea, but we don't have a lot of flexible line items. So I still agree with the recommendation to move this forward, but I do think it's a good idea to discuss at the board meeting about the timing of this and whether we want to wait until we have a better understanding of what's happening at the state level, or whether the board just wants to move ahead with these projects anyways.
Okay, so we have a motion to recommend to the board. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. And so it'll move forward. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
adjourn.
I want.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those
I think
opposed?
electronically you should be able to figure out who came in first.
We have methods for that in Zoom. You say raise hand, and I just raise hand.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I second it and I approve it.
Okay. Well, three of us have to run to another meeting. So see a couple of you in about half a minute.
Yes, thank you all.
Sounds good.
Thanks,
Enjoy.
everybody.